Okay, so this is lesson 5 of the 32 movements sitting form Tai Chi Chuan. Uh, so let's begin. We start with our beginning for the last movement from our previous lesson, carry tiger to the mountain. So it is. And now is 十只手 cross hand. You sit up straight, and then gradually bring your hands together and making a cross in front of your forehead. Okay. When you start learning this movement, you may sit up and try to get your balance of your body, and then bring it back, and eventually you want to close your wrists together by the time when you sit up straight. Okay, but it is more coordination when you practice. So for the beginning, you may sit up straight and bring it together. Okay, and then gradually you practice it, so you bring it. By the time your wrists close together in front of the forehead, you just sit up straight. Okay? And when you bring your hands together, you are not lifting up your shoulders. So many people does this, really. I see a lot of people doing this. This is not right. You simply bring your wrists together. Okay, so on this side, okay, leaning forward, see my back. Okay, and then sit up straight. And notice that I'm not lifting up my shoulder at all. And for about your wrist, making a cross in front of your forehead, so you can still see it under this triangle that makes between your arms. Okay, this is the original posture, was a protection. So someone hit you in your head and you protect yourself. So when you protect yourself, you still want to see your enemy, right? So you protect yourself. So okay, let's do it again. And then sink your elbows and bring your wrists in front of the throat, so you stop here. Again, you're not, say on the side view, okay, you're not doing this. You're not chopping. You're actually sinking your elbows, and again, you're not pulling your shoulder. You're sinking your elbows, and your wrist will be at your throat height. Okay? So it makes the complete cross hand movement. Sit up straight, crossing your hands in front of your forehead, sink the elbows, and your wrists are now in front of your throat. So it's cross hand. So next move is Lan Che Wei, grab burst tail. So I think it's time to explain a little more. In Tai Chi Chuan, different form of Tai Chi Chuan, we have the 108 joint form, or 108 movement joint form, or 54 movement round form, and now it's the 32 movement sitting form. And you see a lot of Tai Chi Chuan formats that have different numbers of movements, and we count that, we make up the numbers to sound nice, or sometimes it has meanings, but we actually say, for example, in this cross hands, we actually go through 手挥琵琶 then go to reverse tail as we have done before. But say we do it, but we don't count it this time. So we go through 手挥琵琶, bring both hands back into this position, okay? So originally you were like this, and then it is 手挥琵琶, right? So when it happens in lesson 6 as well, when we go to the wild horse separates the mane, that because 手挥琵琶 is bringing hands together, okay? In some movements, we just simply don't count them. It is just an interchange from movement to movement. So in this movement, from cross hand to 蓝垂尾, we actually go through 手挥琵琶, lifting a loop 手挥琵琶. So this 手挥琵琶, and then grab burst tail, turn both hands, sink elbow and lean forward, push forward, okay? And lean to your front left, lean to your front right, right turn your hands, and sit up straight. So I don't want to go to details again in this lesson, so if you want to go back to the detail of 蓝垂尾, go back to my previous lesson. And then 单边 as well, single whip, your hands open, front your hands. Okay, so cross hands, 手挥琵琶, 蓝垂尾, 单边, single whip. Okay, and now it is the time to introduce one of the most famous movement in Tai Chi Chuan, which is the 云手, cloud hands, or some translated as wave hand like clouds. So I don't want to I just want to simplify the name. So 云 actually means cloud, and 手 actually means hand. So cloud hands, 云手. Okay, I hope you understand. So let's do it. So this was the last posture of 单边, single whip. Now flatten your hands. Lean to your front right a little. Lower your left arm. Turn your hip and close. Okay, this gets a bit complicated, and it's something, some modifications between the original form and the sitting form, mainly because we do have a lot of leg movements in this in the 云手, and because it's sitting form, we have to do some modification of it, like in the standing form of 云手. The hand was originally like this, so when we turn your hip, our hands goes with it. But when you sit, if I lower my hands here, and when you turn, you leave your hand behind because you're blocking your hands by your thigh. Okay, so we have to modify it, so you lift your hand up, your forearm up, so when you turn your body or turn your hip, you go over your thigh. Okay, get that? Good. So single whip, turn your hip. Okay, so you flatten your hands, and now look at your right hand. Now press a little, so instead of 45 degrees, you open up like 60 degrees. And remember, you have a bent elbow. So even though it looks like it's straight, it should be bent a little. The reason is that let's talk about a little of martial art application. So if you go straight arm, and when you hit something hard, you actually push back and hit yourself. But if you bend into it, acts like a spring or suspension. If you hit, it absorbs the impact. Okay, so that's why in Tai Chi Chuan you always have a bent joint. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so your body is right. You're leaning a little to your front right without turning your body. And when so Dan bian, flatten your hands, and then push a little, lean to your right, okay, and lowering your left arm. So notice that you're leaning to your right and your body still facing south. Okay, facing the front or facing south. For the directions of Tai Chi Chuan, watch my direction of Tai Chi Chuan video. Okay, so my arm, when I lower my arm, my fingers should be pointing forward, and notice that I turn my hip and my body turns with it. So see I turn my hip, I open my hip. So if we can close it here and open it here, this is what we call turning hip. So, and my arm is not moving actually, it's the whole body moves. So my hand moves with me, with the body. And now it's kind of like 45 degrees and your arm is 45 degrees, so it's not parallel. And then you close your left hand to your right hand. Okay, the cloud hand is complicated to learn in the beginning, but once you can master it, it's quite a good move. You can just practice cloud hands all day long. So it's better, it's worth to spend more time practice the cloud hands. Okay, so I'm lean to my right, lowering my left arm, turn my hip. So from the from the camera, you can see my turn my hip, and then close it to my wrist. So let's sit 45 degrees angle. Okay, so you notice the movement here. Again, here is like Dan bian. When you open it, your hands stay here. Okay, same. When you turn your hip, this arm stays, so you have to move your shoulder joint. Close. Now, it is like Dan bian. open your hip. So remember 单边. So now it's the same, but with your right hand is now open like a palm, an open palm, not a hook hand. Okay, open, lean to your left. Okay, notice that my hands goes with me, meaning there's no movement. So you relax. Relax meaning, not meaning this, holding your position so you're not adding extra movement or adding extra signal to your arms. Lowering your right arm. So I'm still okay. By your body were already was pointing front right. Okay, by opening your hip and then bring your left arm open. Your body now should be facing forward. So leaning to your left and lowering your right arm. Your right finger should be pointing forward. Okay, so it should be pointing to the camera. And then again, you turn your hip, pointing to your front left. So let's do on this side at 45 degrees angle. 45 degrees angle. Open your hip, lean to your left, lowering your arm and turn. And also notice that again, so at this movement, my hands move with my body. I'm not adding more signals to it. So wherever it stays, it moves with my body. Okay? And then again, when I turn, I'm not adding more signal to my arms. So it is, even though if you see my upper body is moving, it is only my hip that is moving. Okay? So open, lean, lowering, turn. And then turn your hands and push. Now it is pushing to your front left, and then close it, just like the other side. And we repeat this process. Open your hip, lean to your right, lowering your left arm, turn your body by turning the hip, turn your right hand, push to your front right, close it. Do it again. Open by opening the hip. See, my hip is opening. Lean to your left, lowering your right arm, and then turn your hip, push, close it, open the hip, lean to your right, lowering it with your left arm, turn your hip, push your right hand, and close your left hand to your right wrist. Okay, so in cloud hands, close, open, in. So it's one cycle. Two cycles. So you have to do it twice. So it is, you start with right hand side, open, left hand side, right hand side, left hand side, and then come back to your right in this starting position, and it will follow by a single whip that we will talk in the next lesson. So in the cloud hands, it is always single whip, cloud hand, single whip. So your cloud hand start with a dan bend, single whip, then you do your cloud hands, 云手, and then when you finish your cloud hands, then it goes back to a single whip.